Thank you very much, Mr. Raman Kumar, for joining us today. Before we start our discussion, we wanted to understand what are the key objectives for Al-Futtaim Logistics and how do you see yourself in the evolving logistics industry?
Let me put it in a very simple form, Al-Futtaim Group as a value, respect, integrity, collaboration and excellence. So we are in that particular segment. As this one, we want to grow with the customer who wants to work with us. We always want to exceed the expectation of the customer requirement. And our principle is that we need to tailor what the customer required. The customer can be the customer B2B or their own customer. It depending on how their requirements have been needed and how you are meeting their requirement. That is our main focus for driving a business. As we say, as always, the customer comes first. We take care of the stakeholder. We take care of the employee who are in the business. It's very important that we have these three pillars together so that the fourth pillar is the profit will come into the place. So we look into this four angles to drive the best for the group and also for the customer.
What percentage, when we talk about it, of your business accounts to the air freight and the other modes?
Let me put it in this way to you. I look at the business as which lane we have been having a strength than more what is our air freight percentage. Air freight is one of the key business for Al-Futtaim Logistics. When I look at the lane where we are very strong, let me put it from UK to UAE is very strong. We are in the top 3 segment where we control the air freight and coming major segment. And then we have from Netherlands, we have from Paris, and then we have from Germany. These 4 segments are a big segment for us on a lane. We are the leaders in the top 3 or 4 in this particular lane. Not only that, we are focusing more to drive through aerospace logistics. That's why we have been here to look at how we can move forward, and we have airside delivery, which is one of the biggest requirement for aerospace logistics. So there is an ambition, there is a growth plan, and then we are moving forward on the logistics field, on the air freight industry. We can say if you are putting in a bigger perspective, it's a bigger business for Al-Futtaim Logistics.
That's really interesting to know. But post-pandemic, have you seen a shift moving back to the sea freight and from the air freight, and how has the pricing been?
You cannot say that there is a shift from an air freight to a sea freight segment after the pandemic. The demand has increased. Most of the manufacturer and most of the owner of the product, they started to improvise on their supply chain model, and the supply chain is coming into a bigger way. So you cannot put as that air freight they are shifting. In air freight, there is a big demand has been there, and food and beverages and time critical requirement, where it is a simple thing. I can put it on air freight, like, you prepare a sandwich in UK at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you will be available that sandwich early morning 6 o'clock in Dubai. So that's how we look at a supply chain where the time critical to reach the customer. And then if you look at the sea freight, there is an increase in the number of volume. It is between the retail, you have automotive, you have the parts, you have aerospace, you have other segments which are all growing. I won't put it, whether it is a shift, but both the segments are growing over the period of time. If you look at the Emirates profit, what they have done, airline industry is shown, and then the shipping line is showing it. There is a very clear, the demand has increased, and most of the manufacturer and others, they are fixing their supply chain in a proper way so that it benefits the end customer.
You have also launched focused air freight solutions, which you have recently announced. So can you share more insights on that, and which are the key markets which you are looking as the growth markets?
Let me put it in a very simplest way. Aerospace, we had a soft launching 2 years back. The major companies, major industries, airline industries have a tie-up, and when we see that the product is getting developed, and then requirement, we have been understanding that on a soft note 2 years. Now if you look at that, we are going into aerospace logistics as one of the key vertical for Al-Futtaim Logistics. And if you look at the product, what we are providing is a time critical We are providing airside delivery. We provided the requirement of the warehouse which are specific to the airline industry. And apart from that, new concept we introduced is that the technician on board. So what happened, you have a limited number of technicians who can take care of the parts. So when it's become a critical, the technician goes on a dedicated flight and then he goes into that place, fix it and come back. This is a new service which we have not seen in this part of the world or in the globally. So this has become a very interesting, and most of the customer are coming forward and looking at that. If you look at the lane or what you can say as a country, India is growing very fast and you can see the number of orders, and especially UAE, and if you look at the top 3 or 4 airlines is in this part of the region. So it's very important that the number of aerospace is coming in. We are sitting today on this one where you can see a different than what it was there a couple of years back. So it's very critical and it is coming more important, and customer focus are being driven at the requirement.
See, we are also seeing a lot of new technologies being implemented in the industry. So specifically when we talk about Al-Futtaim Logistics, and you have just shared with us very, very interesting examples of the last mile delivery. What are the new technologies which you are investing in or you plan to invest in the coming future?
I will segregate that into a 4 or 5 segment. One is the automotive. As everyone knows, the finished vehicle logistics and the parts distribution, we are the leaders in this part of the world. And for that, on the finished vehicle, we have developed a system called yard management system, which is one of the best tailor-made for us. That what happened, that gives a transparency of the vehicle from the origin till it reaches the end customer. So that kind of transparency and integrated with a different system, it gives them. Then let me put it on the warehousing side. We are moving into the latest technology of S4 HANA and then other technology which gives them the traceability. When you look at the aerospace, we are introducing a new technology with one of our partners. The tag, when the cargo is been there, you connect the tag. The tag will be go into the cargo. The tag will get activated at the time of unloading. So at the time of unloading, you will be able to clearly recognize that the product has reached this place and customer need not run for picking up the tag. So the product is very clearly available on loading. It will be easy for us to deliver to the customer. This particular technology is not been introduced in this part of the world. I can tell we are the first one to introduce on that. One of your questions, on the last mile delivery. Last mile delivery, it becomes so critical for the customer, and some of the times, the customer does not like to get many SMS. So you look at the way in which how the customer behave, how it comes into that. We have an artificial intelligence which has been built in our system. It gives how the customer behavior, how the messaging has to be gone, how it has to be called, it's been determining, including currently we will be rolling out in another few weeks, It's a transport management system, latest one in the market or throughout the world. It's not been there. The current provider has done a lot of requirement and change to their existing technology, which give very clearly what the customer wants, requirement very clear, and it collecting the data of the vehicle which are available plus the driver, and system automatically do an artificial intelligence able to recognize what is required for an efficient management of the vehicle driver, and it gives the result automatically.
So I think with the technology what you're talking about, definitely it gives an edge to Al-Futtaim Logistics over its competition. But these are the opportunities. But as we go along, there are a lot of challenges as well. When we talk about the increasing cost, when we talk about the talent. So which is one of the biggest challenge for Al-Futtaim is being faced?
See, I put it into 3 baskets. One currently, is a sustainability. Today, what happened? Everyone throughout the world looks for a sustainability. So, how you will be able to go into the electric vehicle? Today, if you look at the trucks, there is no major player except you have a selective player. So we look at that, how we can do an investment, how we can do that, and then you build up the infrastructure for that particular electrical vehicle. Today, if you see, if you have gone to Europe, you will see a lot of places like a petrol station, you will have a charging station. If you look at UAE, it's not there, it is on the places of going. As an Al-Futtaim Logistics, we are investing more on this particular infrastructure. So that would be a very critical factor which is more important for a logistics industry. Then when it comes to the second one is the resource. When you look at the resource, you need to get a correct resource on place. When you get a correct resource on place, you need to train them. So when you look at this combination, it would be very difficult to get. So what we do, we get a fresh candidate or this one, and then we train them to our requirement and put it, through a change management and transformation to get the best result what they can do. And then the third one, which I put it, little one is the cost. Like, petrol fluctuation is happening. We are not able to say where the fluctuation will happen. What would happen? We have to look at we can say that it's a problem, but you need to put a precautionary measure. That's why, like, transport management system and artificial intelligence comes, which will give us the benefit, how the driver's behavior will help us, how the vehicle movement will happen, will benefit on the cost over a period of time. On a short term, it's an impact. On a long term, we'll see there is a benefit would be there.
So we'll wrap up our just with one last question. Given the global nature of logistics, what are Al-Futtaim Logistics plan for expansion in the Middle East and globally?
As we have already established ourselves in UAE, Saudi and Oman. In 2024, we are looking at Egypt. Egypt is a huge market and Al-Futtaim's group's interest is there, so we want to expand. Not only that, wherever the Al-Futtaim group's interest is there, like in Hong Kong, East Asia, there are interests and we have the knowledge, know-how, technology, everything. It's a question of time how we move into this particular countries and expansion. What I'm saying is 2024-25, we would have seen Al-Futtaim Logistics is in the minimum of 2 to 3 more countries than what you have seen today. So I'm expecting around 6 countries we should be ready on 2025.
That's really wonderful and we look forward to your global expansion. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you very much.